So there is a school of thought that says you should not play basketball or work out on concrete, and you shouldn't work out barefoot. And the reasoning behind this line of thought is concrete has less give and feet have less give. Thus, there is a greater potential for impact being absorbed in your body and a greater potential for injury. And this isn't necessarily a bad way of thinking about things. Before I go into that, what I'm doing here is warming up on my landings. Squat landing, back landing, which you just saw, forward landing, and upright landing are the four main landings that I practice. And I'm always going to warm up with them before I warm up on the jump because it's important that I don't get injured as I'm jumping can be very dangerous. Ground impacts, yeah. Anyways, so the idea is the ground has no give and you don't have shoes, so you have no give, so there's a greater potential for impact. Well, you can still diffuse all that impact, you can still transfer all that impact, but in order to do that, you need to be more precise in your movements, right? If you're extremely precise in your movements and energy efficient in your force transference, it's completely safe jumping, playing basketball, etc., practicing on concrete, right? Because if you can take this level of precision and practice in your movements, your jumping and your landing, take that into an indoor court where you have the give of the floor and you have the give of your shoes, you're going to waste less energy and going to be faster and stronger and bouncier. Does that make sense? On the other hand, if all you ever do is work out on bouncy hardwood and with shoes, that's probably going to be fine, but you miss out on working on your precision on concrete. I mean, I'm not coming out here and just slamming my feet around and stuff like that. I'm very, very, very conscious and making this more into a landing exercise than a jumping exercise. As you see, I'm doing net hangs and I'm doing rim hangs, and I'm just not going to take a chance on landings as I get better with landings. So I've jammed my fingers up, or I jammed my nails in the net, which is why I showed that on the rim doing this thing. But does that make sense? So in my opinion, it's completely reasonable and even good to be working out on barefoot and on concrete, because if you do this without getting injured, you come back on, put shoes on, go to a gym, and you're just throwing down thunderous dunks. So that's my line of thinking. Obviously, you've seen in other videos, I'm all about barefoot landing, or barefoot everything. Like shoes really muffle the feet, toe strength and foot strength is important. So I like to try to simulate as many basketball activities as I can barefoot. I find that to be tremendously useful. So starting off, trying to dunk this 6-pound medicine ball with the net pull-up. 6 pounds is a lot. This thing's pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy. Also, I want to say that this rim is actually a little bit high. It's probably set right at 10 feet, but it's uphill from the camera to the rim, so I'm running uphill from the three-point line, and I'm jumping from downhill. So that's another challenge. I go to an indoor rim that's droopy from people dunking on it, and it just way, way, way easier. I just want to make things harder on myself so I can go inside and make things easier. So you're going to see me doing a lot of net grabs and stuff like that, and the reason I'm doing that is I don't think that I can dunk this right now, but I still want to get the upper body mechanics, and I also want to have safe controlled landings. Net grab's the way to do it. I know I'm not going to get hurt this way. I mean, it may be a violation, so this isn't strictly a game practice, but I'm not going to be foot in the game, I'm not going to be concrete in the game, I'm not going to be one-on-one in the game, taking these exact approaches in the game either, so it doesn't need to be exactly like a game anyways. It's just practice. Sorry that I set this thing in front of the camera, that was kind of dumb. At this point, a dude with a bicycle comes by, sees me training, I'll let you listen in on that.
Go ahead and windmill that, my man.
I can, man.
Go ahead and windmill it.
I'm barefoot out here.
Sometimes you jump higher when you're barefooted.
Yeah, maybe, we'll see. I'll try something now. See what I can do.
Hey, keep trying, man.
Yeah.
Practice makes perfect.
That's pretty much it. I put shoes on, it gets way easier.
That's good stuff, my man. You guys about to play ball here? These your people?
No, I'm So just fun, you know, talk to people at the park, spread my knowledge a little bit. But a story that you may or may not have seen that I posted in how to get your first dunk at any height. If you're questioning the validity of the net grab thing, I learned this from Justin Dentman. Justin Dentman was NBA D-Leaguer Player of the Year. I used to play pickup with him at the UW IMA a little bit. He's a really, really nice guy and used to do net pull-up dunks in game, and I was like, why did he do this? And I discovered it's for landing, and it's just good for coordination and all that. If it's an officiated game, you don't have to do it. You can just take the layup, but good thing to practice. As for the barefoot thing, other influences on that, I was influenced by Kador Ziani. If you don't know who Kador Ziani is, he's an Algerian dunker, 5'10". He's like 40 now, and he still dunks barefoot outdoors. And that changed the way that I looked at barefoot outdoors. I was like, that shortens your career? Well, this guy has an extremely long dunking career in what he's doing, so what does he know that I don't know? Well, it seems to me that he's discovered what I've discovered, or maybe I discovered from him, is that you learn extra precision, which is good. It's good. You toughen your feet. It's just really good. There's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, Kador Ziani was like the first original best dunker in the world. He was touted to have a 60-inch vert. Hey, I got it. Which isn't true, but I mean, he was getting his head around the rim at 5'10", 10 years ago. So he's amazing. Big influence. Yeah, getting the 6-pound is big. It tests the upper body mechanics of jumping a lot because it's heavy, so it forces you to be more efficient in your use of the upper body, or you're not going to get it at all. So I decided that I'm not going to get the right hand. I'm going to end on some rim hangs. This is what the exercise is really about. The rest was all just warm up to here, warm up my landing first, then warm up my jumping. And this is really about rim hangs. In games, if I'm going to be getting dunks, I want to be hanging from the rim if I can, not for any reason other than having a really safe, controlled landing. The squat landing is the safest and the least damaging landing by far. I have other landings in case things go wrong, but if I can just land and drop myself down, that's the ideal. And in order to really do that, I have to be proficient at rim grabs. So, real relevant practice. Bam, two-hand rim grab, that's what I came to do. Got all 3 of those on 3 tries. Feel good, and that's basically the workout. As you're going to see, I'm going to come back for some dunk attempts. Oh. My fingers are kind of messed up. My nails, I jammed up a couple of them. And I got a little bit of blood, but these are really nothing, and it's worth it. I'm gonna learn how to not make those mistakes, and I'm gonna be getting way higher with shoes. So I decided I have to get some dunks before I leave, or try at least, and without the net pull-up and try to land them. So I just want to see if I'm able to do it. This is only my 2nd or 3rd time out here. This isn't something that I've been doing a lot, starting off with the net. But you can expect to see me back here. It seems like a very, very good exercise to do every once in a while, just to practice form more than anything. Get really precise in my movements. Take this to the indoor. Makes a big, big, big difference. So this one is about the closest that I get in this session. Bam. So that would have been a dunk. Not a nice dunk, but a dunk. Instead it hit back rim and I missed it. And that's dumb. I just want layups, right? Like, I just want it to go in. I don't want to miss the point. I mean, the most important thing is my landing, longevity, but that's really what I want to be doing, is just getting as high as I can and scoring, and then landing safely, with landing safely being the biggest priority, scoring being the second, and having that being an overhand throwdown, pretty low down on the list. But I just want to be able to get high. It's hard to block. It's hard to block. There's a lot of good things about being able to dunk. I mean, I train to dunk in games, right? It's not just for show. Not at all. There's so many reasons. It's just huge. Like, it makes it easier to score, and it makes the defender less likely to contest. So it's just a good thing to be able to do. And it's really, I'm not necessarily aspiring to be able to dunk, although I am, obviously, so much as I'm aspiring to have the athleticism to be able to dunk. And the athleticism that comes with being able to dunk brings with it being very fast and bring a majority of other things. So this is why I practice. It looks crazy to begin with, but I feel that it makes sense. So let me know what you think.